is creative. So focus all your efforts on creating better and better creative. And I think that is what, if you look at what Facebook is emphasizing, certainly we've heard about lookalike audiences, and we've heard about like ask Facebook for what you want. And I recommend the same thing. Like if you want conversions, ask Facebook for conversions. If you want traffic, ask Facebook for traffic. If you want video views, ask them for that. The algorithm, the AI is very good at finding that. And then targeting. Yeah, targeting is an issue. You know, we could target based on interest, or we could use lookalike. But what it comes down to, if you want to get the response you want, is that you have to develop creative that absolutely connects magnetically to your marketplace. So the better you can create an offer, a message, a video, an image, your copy, the more you can connect with your audience, the better. And one of the things I love to tell people to do these days is, yeah, you know, tracking is an issue, and, you know, Facebook is pulling away a lot of things. So we're really reverting back to what we used to do before retargeting, which is I'm pulling people off of the media and I'm getting them on my email list. I'm getting them into other media. I'm inviting them to webinars. I'm using sales calls. I'm using multiple media to basically build my list and sell my stuff. And so it's not about just, hey, I'm going to push the easy button and I'm going to do everything on Facebook. No, what it's really about these days is the fundamentals of marketing, which is connect to people on multiple media and use Facebook to go reach out to people. And it's working fantastically for people that are embracing it.
And I love how you're saying you have this multiple media idea because it gets us away from this idea that either the Facebook ads work or not, right? Because there's
Right.
always that worry that, well, okay, I can't I'll have the stage where I can't get Facebook ads working and I'll be struggling and struggling, and maybe a brief window where maybe my ads will convert, or it'll be more than a trickle, or it'll be cheaper than $10 a click or something. I'll have that little window where it'll work, but then there's always the fear that Facebook will change everything up again, and then now I'm dead in
Right.
the water. And then you always hear about people worrying about, well, I can't sell this on Facebook, or I can't be in that category for my landing page. And guys like you and me are thinking, well, why not play nice for Facebook and play
Yep.
by their rules and do what it takes to build your list? Because once they're on your list, then you can do almost whatever the heck you want, because now it's Facebook's not scrutinizing that exact website that you're landing on. And I mean, I think that so one, you know, Bob, one thing that really surprised me a couple of years ago was one time my wife was showing me this Facebook ad. She's like, Facebook is showing me this thing, and she didn't realize the little text that said sponsored. And
Sponsored
it
ad.
kind of, and yeah, and it clicked with me that like a lot of people don't even realize that what the ads that they're seeing on Facebook are ads. And then I know that me personally, when I go through kind of this journey of like, I'll see an ad for like some kid's toy and I'll click on it and I'll think, okay, well, that's nice, and I won't go back. But then I'll see all kinds of other people running ads for kids' toys because of the
Right.
Facebook artificial intelligence and the interests and things like that. And then a small percentage of those people advertising, if they're really good, sometimes they'll convince me to get on a list, or I'll get followed around on like content network ads or on YouTube ads or things like that. And so there's all these kind of outside the box strategies that we need to be doing. And so you say that it starts with connecting with your audience, because that way you get them to click, you get them to fill in like the lead, and then you can do all these other things. So what are people missing as far
Yeah.
as connecting with the audience? Because sometimes you hear like, you know, talk to your customers or look at your competitors or speak
Yeah.
from the heart. But is there like a no-brainer sort of approach to this whole connection problem?
Yeah, and I approach things maybe a little bit differently than others. I One of the things that bothers me about advertisers is the laziness. Okay, now we all want to be efficient, we all want to do shortcuts, but I see too many advertisers trying to create an ad that does everything. Now, if you study marketing, you know that people are on a journey. You could reach somebody today, Robert. Maybe you're at this point where, like, if you and I are golfers, all right, maybe you're like really into golfing and I'm not as much into golfing, all right. I'm going to be in a different place for a particular golfing instructional video than maybe you are. I may be somebody. Let's go to a different market, like involved with weight loss. Okay, maybe you are in the part of your journey where like, I'm investigating solutions to like actually tackle this problem, but maybe I'm still over here like completely unaware. I mean, it goes back to a book written in 1966 by Eugene Schwartz called Breakthrough Advertising, and it brought up the concept of the fact that customers are on a journey, and so you make a mistake as an advertiser by basically running an ad that jams at people that are already called solution aware. They're already marketing for solutions. When in fact, what you should be doing is marketing to people who are unaware. Because Facebook is an interruption mechanism, right? We're not there to look at your ad. We're there to connect with family, friends, get news, argue about politics, religion, and vaccines and all those things, right? You are interrupting what they are doing. And so you need to go with the mindset of, if you're going after a cold audience, you need to be running ads that are not trying to sell something. You're just trying to get them to raise a hand. You're capturing awareness first. You're looking for signals that, hey, I'm interested in that. And that's why when you click on that toy ad, Robert, you sent a signal to Facebook to say, now maybe it was a false signal, but hey, Robert's checking out ads about toys. Guess what Facebook's going to do? It's going to start showing you ads about toys. Okay, you sent a signal. So what you're doing is you're looking for signals. I don't want to waste a bunch of money advertising to people that I know aren't going to pay me money for my product or my service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Facebook for the way it's intended, which is I'm going to run ads for awareness. I'm going to get people to signal to me. Either they visit a website, they watch a video for a certain amount of time, they're going to tell me that they're interested. And then I'm going to focus my middle of funnel and my bottom of funnel advertising towards people who are interested. And that's where I'm going to start selling solutions. I'm going to move them through my sales funnel there. Too many people, Robert, are trying to put people into their sales funnel at the top when they're cold, and they end up wasting a lot of money. They get frustrated and they say Facebook ads don't work. It's because you haven't taken the customer awareness journey into mind as you develop your top of funnel ads, your middle of funnel ads, and your bottom of funnel ads. We're finding much more success if we focus on building awareness top of funnel, nurturing middle of funnel, and selling at the bottom of funnel. That's the way we are finding success on Facebook these days.
And you hear so much of that things are, so crowded and so targeted, and people are looking for things so specific that if you just try to jump to the finish line, you're still marketing in a super old school way. Even though Eugene Schwartz is kind of old school, but like that's like the classic thing. And it's like, and when I came across that concept, my whole life changed. That people at
Yeah.
first are like problem unaware, and then they get to problem aware, and then they get to solution aware, and they get to product aware. Like there's all these steps. And if you
Yes.
think about the things, like if you personally had gone through like going back to college, or losing weight, or like developing basketball skills or something, it's like
Yeah.
sometimes it takes months or years to get there. And then you come across people who are maybe like thinking in a too much of a cookie cutter fashion, and they're
Right.
thinking just like, well, do I have a short ad or a long ad, or a short email or a long email? And my thinking is, well, try all kinds of different things and try to see where they're at and where they're coming from, and like walk them through, because just one technique on its own is not really going to do it. And you're going to be missing out on a lot of what happens. And so yeah, this is all like really cool to think about, and especially the way you presented it. It's evergreen. It's like we said, it's the foundation. It's the marketing principle. So even if
Right.
Facebook upends everything, which guaranteed they will, these kind of sound, solid, advice that we're talking about will still apply even in the years to come.
Yeah, and this is really a high-tech way. I mean, all of us have walked into a retail store, right? And the first thing the associate asks you is, "What are you here for today?" or "How can I help you today?" Now, if they were to just suddenly start jamming like, "Hey, here's a pair of jeans, here's a lawnmower," like that's what a Facebook advertiser is doing. They didn't take time to just ask them, "What are you here for?" And so that's why I like to use the electronic algorithm to like give me signals that, hey, I'm selling this financial package and I only want to talk to people that want that. It's the same thing when you walk into the doctor's office. Doesn't start prescribing stuff to you until he or she asks you, What are you here for today? Right? There's a diagnosis. So it just makes sense logically, but I think, the fact that we're just trying to get to the sale so quickly, we skip all these steps. And that's what deep funnel marketing is, in my opinion. I coined the term because I think so many marketers underestimate the amount of depth they need to go to convert somebody. Now, obviously, this is much easier for an advertiser, Robert, that has a higher price, higher margin product. They have more room to do that. Typically, if you're a high margin, high fee product or service, you do have a longer sales cycle, and this is really applicable to you, but could even apply to somebody in the e-commerce space where maybe your deep funnel is shallower than others, but still it's like if you've got a product that solves a problem, you still want to build out ads that call out to the people that have this problem and then only market that solution and product to people that have raised their hand. It makes sense logically, but we tend to break our rules when the money's at stake because we really just want to get to the sale. All right. And we end up getting frustrated because we're not connecting with the marketplace. And then it all goes back to creative, right? What are we saying at each point of the funnel that'll get them to take just that action? Top of funnel, we're not selling, we're building awareness. So our creative is geared towards awareness. Bottom of funnel, we are selling, and our creative is geared towards selling them on the next step with us.
Well, this is all very logical, like you're saying, and in this day and age, with all the data that Facebook has on people, and how much we can target, and how quickly we can test, and even once they're in your funnel, with all these automation platforms that are there, where
Yeah.
you can test clicks, or you can get them, if they do this click, you tag them with that, or that click, they tag them with that. I mean, there's no excuse for not deeply customizing the offer and how far along they are on your funnel. So that way you start off and just give them some information and figure out what they want. And then once you get closer to the end there, be in more of a hard sell mode, being more dynamic. And so this is all
Yeah.
really great to think about. And I'm sure that in all of your many years of dealing with this forever problem, but there's always solutions for it. In all your many years, I'm sure you've come across some interesting stories, case studies, clients you've helped, fun solutions you come up with. So do any fun stories come to mind, as far as like something you want to share with us to really like drive the point home about what we need to be doing with our Facebook ads?
Yeah, and it really gets down to kind of where I'm putting my focus these days. We talked about video, and I co-own a video marketing company called Feed Stories. And the reason I started Feed Stories was I went to another meeting at Facebook headquarters. I was really fortunate to be in the room. It was a lot of high fee kind of advertisers. I had managed about $1 million that past year, and we got invited in. And the one thing they talked about was not how to optimize your ads, Robert. They talked about video, and they talked about the importance of video, and that they were making a shift to video, how important video is, how much they were emphasizing it, the advantages you were going to get in the algorithm for it. And I really said to myself, okay, like if they're taking the time to tell all their high price advertisers to focus to video, then that's really something we need to focus in on. Now, that's a few years ago, and you and I know just based on what you see in your Facebook feed how important video is. So we put a lot of emphasis now into using video and storytelling. I think uh, I'm not sure who coined this, and I can't really give it attribution to it, but trust is really the new currency. I think we've all been inundated by marketing so much electronically over the last few years. One of the things that we don't get from advertisers necessarily is authenticity and trust. And I think video is a great way for a solid business to build up trust and build up that currency in their bank with the marketplace. So we emphasize video a lot. We emphasize storytelling, and this really came home to me. One of the very first clients I had, Robert, was in the retail space, clothing space. They developed a headband, and we put the owner of the company on video, and this wasn't really good video at the time, but it was basically, she said, "Hi, my name is Amy. I'm a mom. I'm a CrossFitter, and I have this problem where I put a headband on my head, and it doesn't soak up the sweat, and it slips off. So I sat down at my kitchen table, and I sewed a bunch of headbands, and I came up with one that doesn't fall off my head." and I sold it to a couple of my friends, and they decided it was great. So we started this company. And what she ended up doing was she created this movement. She attracted a lot of other moms who were active, and she created this huge community on Facebook. And they actually won Shopify's Retailer of the Year one year through the power of Facebook ads and a very simple 30-second video ad. And I butchered the ad copy, but the story was this: is that taught me, like, if you can personally connect to your marketplace and you have something of value to them, and they like see something in you, you can create a very powerful presence and sell a lot of headbands in this case, or sell a lot of anything. So what we focus in on these days is really having business owners, the people, the face of the company, connect with the marketplace through video, and we're finding that to be an excellent strategy to cut through a lot of the roadblocks and the impediments that consumers have put in front of them to protect themselves from advertisers. It kind of cuts through and helps make that connection again. And it's really great when your clients report back to you and say, hey, the people that are doing business with us feel like they already know us before they meet us. And that's the type of thing that we're seeing. So video for us is really big these days.
And especially because it's just like everything else we've talked about. It's so easy to make video, right? You pick up
Yeah,
the phone, you record something, you can even edit it right there on the phone. There's no excuse. And
we yeah, we carry around the most powerful video, like the most powerful video solution ever created around in our pockets. It's amazing.
yeah, and even a few years ago, I mean, to have that camera quality would have been like $3,000.
Oh,
So
easily.
and I feel like just for my own personal like watching habits, I probably look on YouTube once a day and kind of like see what's in my schedule. But I feel like the problem with YouTube is it's when I'm in the mood for it, it's when I choose to do
Right.
it. And then when I'm on Facebook, I'm usually on Facebook maybe like 3 times a day when I'm bored. And I'm not much of an Instagram person, but they've
Okay.
started putting the Instagram Reels in there.
Yeah.
And the last couple of weeks, the Instagram Reels that they sneak in onto Facebook without me asking have kind of captured most of my attention. And especially these ones, like sometimes there's like accounting videos or real estate videos where they'll do like a 2-shot type of like a
Yeah.
skit where like one guy's talking here and then they cut and it's like the same guy in a different
Yeah.
shirt. And it's really short. It's usually like, 30 or 60 seconds.
Right.
And it's kind of funny, and it's almost like automatically funny because it's the two guys, but they'll come and they'll have a conversation and it'll feel less like I'm learning. And then by the end, I'll be like, whoa, like they gave me that big lesson. Or maybe they fit in like 3 or 4 different tips in just like that little 45-second, 60-second
Right.
thing. And like, there's a handful of guys that like, I'm watching them every day. And
Right.
and as far as like, I scroll past like the texts and the memes, but like these handful of kind of almost funny kind of skit people that are teaching something. And I'm sure eventually there'll be some kind of a ad engagement. That's what's
Right.
currently capturing my attention the most, is exactly what you're saying. The video, the short video in particular, and the storytelling video. I mean, it seems like that's where it's headed as far as what you're saying.
Well, yeah, and how much can you really sell, in 60 seconds? I know we're used to 30-second spots and things like that, but this is companies that spend millions on just brand advertising. Like, you're meeting somebody for the first time, you've got that 30-second engagement, and you're making a judgment like, hey, this is interesting, and you watch the thing all the way through, and then you see more and more of that, right? Now you have this level of trust with this particular individual or this company, and it's like, hey, now, at some point, there's an offer coming along. You don't have that resistance that you would normally have because you've been entertained. Emotion's another one. You've emotionally connected to them. You've been educated by them. They gave you some great information. So, yeah, this is really the way we're communicating here as we go into 2022. Like, this is what's expected of the marketplace. And so if you're not using video and you're not getting it pushed out to your audience, you are missing out on a huge opportunity.
And we all need to be taking action, because like you said, if we him and we haw and we think, well, maybe I'll wait a few more years to take this seriously, then everyone else will be doing this
Right.
and you will be missing out. And so we need to fix the problem. So how do we fix the problem, Bob? What book do we get? What website do we go to? What do we do next in order to finally get on this Facebook ads train?
Well, yeah, I'd love people to get my book, The Ultimate Guide to Facebook Advertising. It's the fourth edition. It's the newest book out. It's highly rated. I spend a lot of time in there talking about Facebook ad strategies, but we also talk lot about video. And it's not ironic that I include a lot of video in there because that's what we find is worked the best. I had one review, Robert. It was a one-star review, and it says, "Hey, do you know that the author Bob Rigneris runs a video company, and like he talks about using video in his book?" And I'm like, yeah, like, of course I do because that's what is working. Like, I'm not going to write about something that's not working. So it was just, I love those one-star reviews that can actually like work in your favor. It gives me a good story. Um, but yeah, feedstories.com is we've got a ton of examples how we can help you do video. A lot of free training on our site. It's really about how do you create amazing creative that builds trust with your market, puts you in a prominent position so that you can really, serve your purpose. Most of the businesses we work with, I'm sure you do too, legitimate, great businesses, consumers need it, and it's your job to get the word out about it. And marketing is the way to do that. And hopefully, we got some tools for you to figure out how to do that better.
Well, fantastic. I hope so too. So we heard from this conversation about how we need to have get awareness, trust, story, video, and the place to find out about that and more is feedstories.com. And then the exact name of the book is The Ultimate Guide to Facebook Advertising, Bob Regnerus. And we can find Bob at Bob Regnerus on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and all of those cool places, ultimatefb.com. But the most important thing to do right now is get your very own copy of The Ultimate Guide to Facebook Advertising. Do it now while it's still fresh on your mind. You'll be glad you did. And thank you, Bob, for stopping by and showing up and dropping some cool knowledge on us.
It's great. Great to meet new friends, Robert. Thanks for having me on the show.